Having the check engine light illuminate on your dashboard can be an unpleasant experience for some people. This signal should never be disregarded, regardless of whether it reveals itself all of a sudden or has been shining for several weeks. The onboard diagnostics OBD system in your vehicle is intended to identify potential issues before they develop into more expensive repairs or malfunctions that could potentially cause serious injuries. There are some problems that are quite small, but there are others that can result in major damage to the engine, decreased fuel efficiency, or even complete failure of the vehicle. You could end up spending hundreds of dollars on repairs if you choose to ignore the check engine light. In this video, we will go over 7 of the most important reasons why this warning should never be ignored. Number 1. This could be an indication of a serious problem with the engine. One of the most important components of your car is the engine, and the check engine light serves as the engine's warning system. In the event that this light illuminates, it may indicate anything from a relatively minor problem to a serious failure of the engine. Some of the most typical issues that cause the check engine light to illuminate are as follows. The term misfiring cylinders refers to the result of gasoline not being burned in the correct manner, which can result in a loss of power and damage to other components of the engine. Engine overheating. Excessive heat can cause engine parts to become deformed and can also cause the coolant system to fail. The failure of a major component can lead to the breakdown of an engine. For example, a malfunctioning timing belt, head gasket, or fuel injector might create this problem. Warning sign. If the check engine light is flashing, it indicates that there is a major problem that requires quick attention. There is a need for immediate attention. On the other hand, a solid light shows that there is a problem that needs to be treated as quickly as possible, but it may not be an emergency circumstance. The second point is that a faulty oxygen sensor can result in poor fuel economy. Number 2. The oxygen sensor is a very important component in the process of controlling the air-fuel mixture in your vehicle. If it breaks down, your vehicle can consume an excessive amount of fuel, which would result in a decrease in gas mileage and an increase in pollutants. The signs that indicate a malfunctioning oxygen sensor include a decrease in fuel economy, rough idling, or hesitation during acceleration, a strong stench of fuel coming from the exhaust, and a decrease in the overall fuel efficiency. The light for the check engine stay on. The reason why it is important is because if a faulty oxygen sensor is not checked, it can result in damage to the catalytic converter, which can lead to expensive repairs that can cost up to $3,000 in total value. Number 3. A gas cap that is either loose or defective might be a source of problems. When the gas cap is not properly secured, fuel vapors are able to escape, which has a negative impact on the following aspects: fuel efficiency, emission system function, and fuel tank pressure. A swift approach. After you have finished driving for a few miles, simply tighten the gas cap. It is a sign that the issue has been resolved if the check engine light goes off. On the other hand, you might require a replacement gas cap. Number 4. Catalytic converter problems can result in thousands of dollars in damage. The catalytic converter is the component that controls the amount of harmful emissions that are produced by the exhaust of your vehicle. When it begins to fail, you might observe there are several warning signs that indicate a failing catalytic converter. One of these signs is poor acceleration, which can cause the vehicle to feel sluggish or unresponsive. Decreased fuel efficiency might be a result of a malfunctioning converter, which can lead to an excessive use of fuel. A smell similar to that of rotten eggs, often known as a sulfur odor, is a result of the presence of unburned fuel in the exhaust system. It is possible to cause the engine to overheat, impair performance, and fail emissions tests if you choose to ignore a catalytic converter that is not functioning properly. Because replacements can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000, early detection is necessary. Number 5. There is a correlation between a malfunctioning mass airflow AF sensor and performance. The mass airflow MAF sensor is responsible for determining the amount of air that is introduced into the engine. This ensures that the appropriate quantity of fuel is injected. Should it be malfunctioning, your car may encounter the following. One of the symptoms that can indicate a malfunctioning MAF sensor is rough idling or engine stalling. Other symptoms include slow acceleration or reluctance. Finally, a decrease in fuel economy is another symptom. It is also possible for a malfunctioning MAF sensor to create engine misfires, which can result in long-term damage if the problem is not addressed. This is the solution. It is possible that cleaning the sensor will resolve the issue, but if it continues to fail, it will be required to replace it. Number 6. It is possible to fail the emissions test if you choose to ignore the light. In a number of states, the registration of a vehicle is contingent upon the successful completion of an emissions test. The presence of a check engine light is often indicative of an automated failure, as the majority of the problems that cause it, such as a malfunctioning oxygen sensor or catalytic converter, lead to increased emissions. The ways to prevent failure of the emissions test. Please obtain a diagnostic scan to identify the specific problem. Please ensure that any issues are resolved before your scheduled emissions test. In order to guarantee that the system is reset, it is recommended to drive the vehicle for a few miles once the repairs have been completed. When you fail an emissions test, it can result in delays, increased repair expenses, and the inability to register your vehicle. This is why it is important to take this matter seriously. Number 7. There is a possibility that transmission issues are developing. When it comes to power delivery and seamlessly shifting gears, the transmission is essential. A check engine light may indicate that there are potential transmission problems, such as the following. Warning signs of transmission trouble. Slipping gears. The car shifts unexpectedly or struggles to stay in gear. Delayed acceleration. The car hesitates while pushing the gas. Strange noises, whining or clunking sounds when shifting gears. Sliding gears. The car shifts unexpectedly or struggles to stay in gear. The solution to this problem is to have a professional examination performed, which can prevent expensive transmission repairs that could cost more than $5,000 if they are not repaired. There are a few things you should do when the check engine light comes on. Be sure to check the gas cap and make sure it is tightened before driving for a few miles. The problem was probably the light turning off, if that is the case. The second step is to observe the behavior of your vehicle, paying attention to any changes in performance, such as harsh idling, stalling, or sluggish acceleration. Using an OBD2 scanner is the third step. In order to determine the nature of the issue, this tool scans error codes. A great number of car parts stores provide diagnostic scans at no cost. The fourth step is to make arrangements for a visit from a mechanic. Get a specialist to diagnose and cure the problem before it becomes any worse, especially if it isn't immediately visible. Some closing remarks. The warning light on your dashboard is your vehicle's way of alerting you to potential issues before they escalate into expensive repairs. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your support helps more people discover valuable insights. Thank you.